What's going on there, kings and queens and everyone in between? It's your boy MFC back at you again with some more Master Duel, but today is a much more somber tone than usual. And I know I said this in a previous video, but we're losing players, we're losing recipes, we're losing the people, we're losing the attention span of many of the casual gamers out there, because no one likes to be put into a situation where skill drains at 3, they're getting Ash Blossom, they got Vanity's Emptiness, they're not even allowed to play the game. We got Naturia Beast Summons, we got Appaloosa, we got all these cards that basically make it no fun, no bueno for you to play the game. You feel as though every time you play a single card, it gets negated. Now you have no turn one. Why? It's because you're not playing the meta. You're not playing the meta game. You're not using the statistically best way or optimal way to play insert deck here. And unfortunately, this game does a terrible, and I mean absolutely terrible job of teaching you Yu-Gi-Oh! It teaches you what a Link Summon is. It teaches you what a Synchro Summon is, but it does not teach you with any sort of certainty what the best decks are. I mean, let's face it, they got you playing Monarchs and you're over here thinking that Monarchs look cool because they got some cool little box art and they're like, oh, the cards look cool. Or you get these numbers like such as Ravio here, where you see 4,000, 4,000, Big Beater, the Destroyer of Worlds, Eater of Planets, the Master of Phantasms. And you think that these are good cards that are going to help you in the long run, just so you can get beat by Sky Strikers, Outlick, Drytrons, and Dinos, and the list goes on, Virtual World. You know, all the decks that could basically cannibalize you in a turn by putting down negates, stopping you from being able to pitch cards into the graveyard, stopping you from being able to special summon, stopping you from being able to activate card effects in your grave, being able to even max C by cards like Called by the Grave, or when you finally get your monster on board, like you think you're going to go for a junk synchron play and get things started, think you're going to set up the grave, that you're going to get a special summon to go into your synchro plays, and then all someone's got to do is go but what if I were to pay 1,000 life points and activate a card known as Skill Drain, which is at 3, by the way. This card is at 3. Now you have to find a way to either get over 4,000 or draw into a kaiju, which, let's be honest, I don't even think there's a kaiju solo mode mission, so you probably don't even know these cards exist. So when casuals get into the game, they get in situations that I'm putting Toby or to be into right now, where you can't even play the game the way your deck is constructed. Now, why is this a problem? Why is this upsetting to a lot of people? Because as it were, right now, in the current patch of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, the only thing you can do is play ranked or go into duel rooms. And I know when you talk about duel rooms, it's like, well, that's still quick play, right? No, because most duel rooms are for somebody and a couple of their friends. They go into the room, then you come in there and they're like, who is this guy? Who is this lady? We didn't invite them. And then you're kicked from the room, or you have to wait for your turn, but these two people don't want to give up their turn, so they just keep dueling. So you're just sitting on the sideline. Well, eventually I'll get in, right? Eventually they'll let me play. And then like you rather just play ranked. And unfortunately, when you put a ranked mode in anything, you're going to run into people who are only going to be playing the meta decks. And there's just sometimes you'll just see one card get flipped over and you might as well surrender because you're not going to have a good time. You're about to get smoked. They're about to be smoking on your phantasmal pack. You're going to Le Shadow Realm, and there's not anything that you can really do to circumvent that trip. All expenses paid. And you didn't even realize you were on the flight until they got Gustav Max on the field and you're losing 2,000 life points. Then they're hitting you for the rest of your life points with all these type of things that are banishing your cards, sending stuff from your deck, not even allowing you to activate this card or with this original card name until the next turn. And then you got artifacts popping and now you can't even special summon because it was destroyed on their turn. Like, there's so many things that you have to look out for, and the game doesn't really even do a good job of teaching you that no deck counters all things unless it's truly tier 0, but that's a level of brokenness that we don't ever want to see again. I'm sure there's something in this game that maybe we haven't found yet that is tier 0, but there are some things that are definitely treading along those lines. But to get back to the question at B, I'm going to try to use the new game Wordle, yes, Wordle, to explain what I'm saying here. So as we all know, Wordle has no leaderboards. There's no speedrun community. There is no such thing as competitive Wordle. The best you could probably do is compete with your friends to see who can solve the word in the least amount of time. And for those of you who don't know what Wordle is, it's a free-to-play web game in which you just guess the word. That's all you do. It's a 5-letter word. You guess the word. If you don't guess the word, it'll check the letters that you used in the guess that you had. And then it'll be like, oh, okay, I understand. There's a C in this word. All right, then you use the C, and then you basically just try to find out what the word is in 6 guesses. That being said, you have to understand something. A lot of people aren't even playing the game, quote unquote, legitimately. I'm getting air quotes here. Most people have now found in-depth strategies by this multi-million viewed video right here, where people are just playing the best, statistically best word to start off with in order to get the vast majority of words that could ever be conceived that are 5 letters and are going to be applicable on Wordle. Yes, that's right, folks. They have compiled a meta game on how to play Guess That Word in 6 guesses. So with that being out there and the infinite library of Yu-Gi-Oh tubers and people who are on forums or having YGO Pro experience or going to masterduelmeta.com or going to YGO deck profile recipes, there's a website for that. There's so many different resources now where people are just going to go out and just build what's best. Not because it's the best thing to do, but you have to understand Wordle is a free-to-play game with no resource management, and they're doing it. So you thought people who are going to come here with a very finite amount of gems, because keep in mind, we don't have infinite gems. We can't just craft any card we want. There's a finite amount of resources that you have to manage unless you want to make 5, 6, 7, 8 alternate accounts, or if you want to become a whale and invest hundreds, if not thousands of dollars into the Konami economy in order to build more decks. And I'm going to be honest with you, it does suck that that's where we find ourselves in with Master Duel, but you can't blame people for playing Eldlick. If they want to win, if they want to actually play the game and facilitate some sort of success in terms of getting some gems, whether it be going all the way from rookie all the way up to Platinum 1, of course they're going to try to do something that gives them the best statistical advantage. I understand that a lot of casual gamers, people who just want to play the game for fun, you want to play your Toon Worlds, you want to play your Magnet Warriors, you want to play all myriads of things that are going under the radar. One of my homies wants to build Watts, and Watts has ultra rare cards in it because some of the Watts are ultra rare. And unfortunately, what that boils down to is you're going to be spending a lot of resources that could probably be best sent on other decks, whether it be obviously Drytrons, Sky Strikers, pretty much all the aforementioned decks I said in the intro. And unfortunately, some decks you're going to play and their turn 1 just equals you don't play the game at all. And unfortunately, with other card games like Magic the Gathering, or if you want to look at Hearthstone, they have a lot of these games have the mana system where on turn 1 you can only do so many moves, turn 2 you can only do certain moves, and it's not until like turn 6 or 7 where you can finally use like pretty much everything in your hand's disposal to its fullest capability. And most people are just going to go back to those games because they're just as free, if not more so, because getting cards in those games is usually a lot more cost effective than they are in Master Duel. And Master Duel is like infinite pantheon ahead of Duel Links. So they're just going to go back to those other games. And a lot of my friends have done exactly that. So I don't know how you guys are feeling about Master Duel right now. I don't know if you guys are feeling the love, feeling the vibes, feeling like everything is all good in the hood. But I don't know if like this is an actual genuine problem. Because don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of people who are playing Master Duel. There's still a lot of people out here grinding. There's still people out here playing the game. There's people playing plenty of decks. But a lot of people, even as early as bronze, are picking up the meta decks. People who are in silver are getting absolutely run out of their rank 3-4 games in a row where they don't even get to play. And while that's unfortunate, you got to understand that's just how people are. Like, look, I could have ended this duel already, and look what I'm doing. Why am I doing this to this poor person? Is it because I'm an evil person? Am I the asshole? Is this, I need to go on Am I the Asshole Reddit? Is that what I need to do? Because there's no reason to do this. Or maybe we could flip this. Maybe I'm just such a nice guy that I'm going out of my way to give Toby a chance. Maybe I'm someone who just wants to see, well, if you couldn't get over a 4,000 beater, maybe a 3,300 beater is more your speed, even though we still have ways to search. We still have skill drain. If I could search the fusion card because I have Raviol in the grave and both the other sacred beasts in my hands, we could just literally eviscerate this person to the Shadow Realm. But that's not even going to matter since effects are negated by good old fashioned skill drain. But we can go into Gustav Mac. Like you see how like they're in a situation where playing the game is not something that they get to do anymore. And don't get me wrong, This can happen to me. Because I got a replay right here where I put down Raviol, I take the Max C challenge, I'm drawing cards, and when I tell you that nothing I did matter, I did not contribute to this game because they go into Cross, then Cross gets the reset, Malicious comes back, and eventually they just get to a point to where their board is just monsters that can negate, monsters that can attack multiple times, Stratos gets resummoned, and now like they just hit me for game with look at all this. Look at all this on the field right now. Then they can go into another fusion play. Then they get this dude in the hand. They go ahead and special summon, and now Plasma shows up. Plasma gets to do this. He gets to attach. I have no protection, and now I go to the Shadow Realm. Like, it can happen to me. And some people who are playing decks that are even more off the beaten path than Sacred Beast have no chance. And they're frustrated and they're flustered and they no longer want to play the game. And like, just let me know what you guys, I'm just starting to repeat myself at this point, but let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think we can fix this? Do you think this is a problem that we can solve? Or do you think this is GG's in the chat?